You're kidding. Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get down.
Ooh, I love this song. I'm hung up in a grave situation.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello and welcome to episode 222 of the Rotten Reviews podcast. Thank you everyone for coming back to another new episode each and every single week. I appreciate you guys so much for showing up to this new episode. I'm recording this one on December 1st and it's a freaking snowstorm outside and I don't like it. But that's what happens when you live in Canada and that's besides the point, I guess. So we'll just stay inside. We'll watch some cheesy action movies and just try to stay warm as best as possible, I guess. But before we do start talking about the movie at hand, let's do a little bit of housekeeping like we like to do each and every single week.
Housekeeping?
I think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
Could you come back in an hour?
Housekeeping, you want towels?
More towels. Need sleepy.
Housekeeping, you want mint for pillow?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
So this week, as always, like every other week, I don't know why I'm saying this week, make sure to check all my social media links down below, okay? At Typhonstein. Follow me on all social media accounts. I feel like I haven't done this in like 2 weeks. It might have been 2 weeks since I recorded the last podcast episode. I feel a little rusty. I always feel rusty though, I guess that's besides the point. But make sure to check me out on all social media accounts. At Typhonstein. We're on X, we're on Instagram, we're on Threads, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. We have the YouTube channel. Definitely go check out the YouTube channel where we do weekly gaming videos that drop every single Wednesday. I have various short videos that go up over there as well. We also have the live streams. We do live streams over on YouTube. I haven't the last couple days. Just I've been tired, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie. I just haven't felt like clicking that record button. I haven't even really felt like playing video games, to be honest with you guys. So we're going to get back into the routine because we just need to. You know, you gotta snap out of that mindset and just keep on working forward. As well, you can also follow the Twitch account at Typhonstein, where we haven't been streaming over there either, but we will be again soon. I know I keep a very horrible schedule, but I have a lot of things to do all at once, so it happens. But yeah, please go follow the accounts. You know, go if you're on Spotify, you know, leave a star review. I'm not gonna ask you for 5 stars. If you want to give 5 stars, that's amazing and I appreciate it. But if you want to give a 1 star, that's alright. I hope you get a snowball in the face, but that's besides the point. Also, if you're on Apple or iTunes, or whatever, you know, give a review over there as well. I'll get around to reading them, but just not at this exact moment at this point in time. And if you're on any other podcast platform that has a rating section, feel free to rate it. Also, if you could just hit that share button on anything, like on the YouTube or on one of the drawings, whatever it might be, just hit that share button. That actually does help out the podcast a lot, and I do appreciate when you do so. I think this housekeeping section is going to stay short. I think that's everything we had to talk about. Really, you know, if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. That way you get notified each and every time I post a new video. I think that's about it. We are slowly getting closer and closer to that 1,000 sub mark though on YouTube. Just so you guys are aware, once we do hit the 1,000 sub mark, I'm going to be giving away some free artwork. I know Canada Post right now isn't really a thing, so if it happens before the post office strike is over, you're going to have to wait. But free artwork coming to 1 or 2 lucky listeners, who knows. But yeah, I think that's enough about this. I think we're going to get right into the movie at hand. This movie you can watch on Amazon Prime. It's from 1999. It's an hour and 35 minutes, and it's starring Dolph Lundgren. We are sitting down to watch Stormcatcher, which has a 4.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 22% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 4.1 out of 10 on Prime Video. I didn't know Prime Video had a rating system as well, but I guess we're learning something new each and every single day here. The quick rundown of this movie, according to IMDb, a renegade general plots to bomb Washington using a new secret jet called the Stormcatcher. The only trouble is, only one man is capable of flying it. The director for this movie is Anthony Hitchcock. Hitchcock? It's not like Alfred Hitchcock by any means. It's Hick and OX. Hicksox? Whatever. He's the director for 1992's Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, 1988's Waxwork, 2009's Knife's Edge, as well as 1997's Prince Valiant. I've heard of that, but I've never actually watched that, so I don't know a single damn thing about that movie at all. This guy's actually worked on all the Waxworks movies. He was director for the original in 1988. He did the second one in 1992. As well, in 1989, he had a movie called Sundown, The Vampire Retreat, which I've never actually heard of before, but I might have to add that to the list to try and find that somewhere. This movie has 2 writers credited to it, and the first one we're going to talk about is Bill Gukwa. I probably butchered that last name, but I'm good for doing that. He's best known for being the writer for this, obviously, Stormcatcher, as well as he played Terrible Terry in 2021's Around Robin. He was also in 8 episodes of a TV show called Sydney. As well, in 1998, he was the writer for a movie called No Code of Conduct. I feel like that's another Dolph Lundgren movie, but I could be wrong. But just by the sounds of that title, I'm pretty sure he's probably in that movie. Like I said, I could be wrong though. And the other writer we're going to talk about is Ed Masterson, who's only got 2 credits. One being Stormcatcher, and the other one being No Code of Conduct. So that was a quick one. Now we're at that part of the podcast where we like to talk about a couple of the people working in the movie, the stars, let's say. The first one, obviously, we're going to talk about is Dolph. How can you not? We'll bring up first 1987's. He was He-Man in the Masters of the Universe. 1992, he was Andrew Scott, GR13 in Universal Soldier. As well, in 1989, he was Frank Castle in The Punisher. Good movie. Definitely check that one out. And, of course, we have to mention, in 1985, he was Ivan Drago. If he dies, he dies. Next person on the top booking for the cast members is someone called Maestro Clark, which I've never actually heard of this name before, but apparently he was Agent J in the 1997 Men in Black video game, as well as he played Ty in 1997's Chairman of the Board starring Carrot Top, as well as he's in 13 episodes of Love Spring International. Whatever the freak that thing is, I don't even understand or care. The last person we're going to talk about is John Pennell, who's a male guest at Party in 1997's George of the Jungle. That's very descriptive. He plays Jael Cryer in 1987's Heartbreak Ridge. He was in 1 episode of 1990's 21 Jump Street, as well as he was in 19 episodes from 1987 to 1988 of Buck James. And other than that, he doesn't really have much that I want to talk about, to be honest with you guys. The tagline for this movie is, "To fight the winds of war, he must enter the eye of the storm." And apparently some trivia. This movie was filmed in 18 freaking days. 18 days, folks. Anyways, enough about all that kind of stuff. Let's get right into the movie at hand. But before we do actually do that, this is your last and final warning. If you don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 1999, feel free to pause the episode now, go watch it on Amazon Prime for free, and then come back and listen to me talk about the podcast, because I will be talking about this movie from start to finish and hitting all the points in between that interest me. So unless you don't want to be spoiled, just sit back, relax, get some candy, get some chips, get whatever you need, the hot chocolate, because it's winter time now, especially here in Canada, because we have snow. I don't like snow. Snow sucks. Actually, I don't hate snow. I hate black ice. Ice sucks because when you hit ice, you go boom on your freaking ass. But that's besides the point. Anyways, stay inside where it's nice and warm. It's the moral of the story. If you're at work, hopefully this helps you get through the day. And if you're in a vehicle, keep your eyes on the road, especially if it's snowing out, because you never know. You might hit some black ice. You might hit a moose. You might hit a ditch. Or Tim Hortons. I don't know. A lot of my listeners are actually American, so I don't know what you're going to hit. Just keep your eyes on the road, and hopefully you get to wherever you're going in one piece. That's what we all hope for in the end. But anyway, so we're going to get started on the movie right now.
Presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures. Tonight,
we believe that your Major Jack Holloway has ties to a terrorist organization.
This is the work of a very well-organized movement, and they're operating within the boundaries of the United States.
A militia group?
We're talking about civil war here.
Top secret U.S. military aircraft has been stolen from its base in Nevada. An all-points bulletin has been issued for the arrest of Air Force test pilot Major Jack Holloway.
What are you doing?
Come on, wait a minute, wait a minute.
What am I supposed to have done, sir?
Explain to me how all the evidence points to you. Explain to me...
What evidence?
Major, please remove your helmet.
How all the witnesses have identified you in your flight suit and how your thumbprint...
I didn't even know what I was supposed to have done.
...is recorded on the identity scanner.
I know I'm innocent. That's what I know.
ID switched.
I need a doctor!
You should go. I'll take care of Mommy, okay?
Wait! Let's talk about this, man. Wait a minute.
Alright, we got our movie starting. We got that, the military style drums playing in the background as the intro credits start to come in. And then we see a very piss poor Stormcatcher font pop up. It looks like it's Times New Roman. There's nothing catchy about it. There's nothing fancy about it. So that right off the bat, that kind of sucks. And then we see this machine, and it's like a giant hose that's hooked up to a yellow suit. But we don't know where the suit is or what the suit is or anything about it at this exact moment. But then we see a name tag that says Holloway, which is actually Dolph Lundgren's character because he plays Major Jack Holloway. Then out of nowhere, the music just starts picking up and the beat starts picking up, and we see Holloway walking through some kind of corridor going to God knows where. I'm assuming he's going to this special plane that they talked about in the description of the movie because he's like the only one that can fly it. And he's got a buddy with him because apparently they probably need a co-pilot, and they both have silver looking briefcases for some reason. We see them get to the fancy ass black jet. I forget the name of the jet already, but we see it on the runway and it's getting ready to take off because it's like the top of the line and best air fighter jet man's ever made. And we see Dolph flying the damn thing up there. I'm sorry, Major Jack Holloway flying up there, calling back to base, being like, "Hey guys, we're up here in the we're in the air. Everything's good to go so far." And Holloway's joking with the co-pilot. He's like, how do I stop this thing? He's like, "I thought I gave you the instruction manual for it last week." And then the air conductor guys are like, "You guys stop having phone sex out there. It's kind of weird." So the guy in the flight coordination area, whatever it's called, he's Captain Sparks Johnson, and that's Mysterio Clark. Probably butchered the pronouncing of the first name on that one, but that's okay. Yeah, now everyone's got to be on their best behavior because General Williams Jacobs, played by Robert Miano, I probably butchered that one too because I'm good at that, comes in and everyone's like, we gotta act like we know what we're actually doing here because the general's right here. I don't want to get fired. No, while they're up in the air, they're actually going into stealth mode and they're using the heat signature and everything to see if they can find the jet at all, and it's not coming up on any of the radars at all. And as they're flying the jet, they're standing by to go weapons hot. And both Dolph and his little, I'm presuming it's me, Captain Lucas, pull up their little, floppy disk CD drives. And "We're ready, sir. We're going to put the floppy disk inside the computer to make the missiles go boom." They test out the package, or kind of test out the package. We didn't see any missiles actually fly out. I'm assuming it's just to make sure it actually authorizes it. And they're like, "All right, you're get to fly home." He's like, "All right, sir, we'll be right there." We see them back on the airship now, and Holloway's talking to the captain, General Williams Jacobs, and apparently Williams is like, "I'm really glad that they've got the three of you guys back together as a crew." And then Captain Sparks and the other guy, Lucas, are all arguing with each other because Lucas is like a smart ass and Sparks doesn't like it too much. And Sparks is like, "Just because we don't like each other, we all have to fight together. We're all pretty lucky that we're still here, to be honest with you." And then as they're walking, a black car pulls up, and General Williams is like, CIA. And Sparks is like, "What's this, the Y-Files?" X-Files joke. And General Williams Jacobs leaves with the X-Files wannabe CIA members. And then as they're leaving, one of them's a girl, so Holloway puts his glasses down and be like, "I kind of like what I see." You see the three of them in the locker room. They're getting back dressed into their normal clothes, and Holloway's asking Lucas, "What's your plans for the weekend?" And he points at his locker, and he's got a Polaroid picture of a plane they own. He's like, "I'm gonna take my baby up in the sky." He's like, "Don't you ever want to just stay on the ground?" And Lucas is like, "No, actually I don't want to." So then we see Holloway, and he's doing some football drills, and it's a bunch of kids playing tag football, or the one with the flag on the side, flag football. It's been a while, okay? And then the wife's like, you were late. And Holloway's like, "Me? No, I've been here the whole time. What are you talking about?" And then we see the kids doing the play that Holloway just said, and Holloway's daughter catches the ball and scores the practice point. He's like, "See, good play, I told you. It'll come in handy next week when you're playing the actual game." Now practice is all over, and all the kids want pizza, and Holloway's like, you gotta talk to Sparks over there. It's actually his week to pay for the food. So how about you go tackle him to the ground and convince him to go buy pizza for you guys? Out of nowhere, we see it's nighttime now, and Holloway is sitting around a campfire with his girlfriend or wife and the daughter, and then Sparks is fighting inside a tent, saying, hey, you want to fight? You want to see my little one, huh? He's doing like a Scarface challenge or a quote, and he's just fighting inside of a tent for some reason. And then Sparks' pager goes off, and he looks at it. He's like, what the hell's going on? He's like, damn it, big guy, looks like the office is calling for you. And Holloway's like, me? He's like, yeah, we got a phone in the car if you want to go call him and see what's going on. And then we cut and see this military truck showing up to like a barrier, and the guard's asking for the papers. And then next thing you know, we see the guard checking over the paperwork. And then we cut and see the footprints or the legs of someone walking through dressed up in the yellow suit that they used to go into the Stormcatcher. So I'm not sure who's going in by itself, unless it's Lucas, and he's probably going to get self-killed, because that sounds like a stupid idea, because it takes 3 of the goddamn fuckers to fly the goddamn thing, and he's only one person. But then we see that military truck actually gets through the gates and is driving towards the same direction. And then once they get parked, a bunch of other guys run out of this military truck to get a job done. And they have black face paint on to try and camouflage themselves, like they're secret agents of some sort, I guess. So we can only assume that these guys that came in on this army truck that had the black camo face paint on are here to probably try and steal the Stormcatcher or hack into it, or try to mess it up in some state or form. And then the guy in the yellow suit gets caught by the other guards because he's like, there's no flight plans for you right now. And of course on the back of his helmet says Holloway, but it's not actually Holloway, because Lucas actually borrowed Holloway's helmet in the locker room area earlier in the night. And then the guy who's dressed up in the flight suit pulls out a suppressed pistol and just starts shooting everyone in the area. And of course we see these guys getting shot, and there's like bad motion acting and be like, oh, you shot me in the stomach, and then the gun actually runs out of bullets, so the one guy goes to take off, and out of nowhere there's a fucking throwing knife, and it just gets the guy right in the back, and you see just spit up Kool-Aid, blood. And then we see the guys from the army truck outside, and they're setting up bombs on the front gate of the hangar, and they're blowing up the whole front of the hangar, and then there's flames all over the place, and then we see the mask light up, and it is Lucas inside. He's like, nice job, Holloway, now you're gonna get blamed for all these murders. Apparently these 3 camouflage guys outside the hangar are able to take on pretty much the whole military base that's there, because they just keep shooting everyone and everyone keeps dropping, but the 3 of them just keep standing. And then we just see Holloway walking in his military yellow suit just through the grass areas, just totally confused as to what's going on, looking around being all confused. And then a SUV, like a cop SUV, shows up, and his daughter runs up to him and starts hugging him. So maybe it was actually Holloway the whole time that did it, but he's having flashbacks, and the kid's asking where he's been, and the wife's asking what he's been doing, where he's been, and apparently nobody knows where he went to, and it's like he's been drugged or something. And apparently when he went to the truck earlier to make the phone call to the captain to see what he wanted on the pager, he just went unconscious because he saw a bright light, and that was it. And then everyone's asking what's going on, and then a military helicopter shows up. And of course the military helicopter is there to pick up Holloway, because he's like, you're under arrest, and if you try to flee at all, we will use military force to catch you, most likely dead. And of course all the military guys, go to grab him, and he's very confused as to what's going on. And then they grab his wife and stuff, so then he starts throwing fists, and then he gets taken to the ground, and then they handcuffed him behind his back, and they just literally chuck him in the helicopter to fly off of him. And of course we see Holloway, handcuffed in a dark black room, which might be in a police station or a military holding cell or the CIA building for all I know. But anyways, the Major comes to talk to him. He's like, Major, I'm so glad to see you. What the hell's going on? He's like, well, I'm hoping you would actually be able to tell me, Holloway. And the Major is being like, well, what evidence? What are you talking about? What have I done? I have no idea. I know I'm innocent. I haven't done anything. But what are you trying to tell me that I've done? And General Williams is like, all the witnesses say they've seen you in your flight suit killing a bunch of other military guys and stealing the Stormcatcher. And I need to know who you're working for. And Holloway's like, I'm working for the military. I don't know what to tell you. And then, of course, the CIA people are watching behind the one-way mirror. And one guy's like, it doesn't actually look like he's lying at all. To be honest with you, it kind of looks like he doesn't have a single clue as to what's actually going on here. And we see the military officers, hauling Holloway away, and his wife's there, and Sparks is there. And he's like, I'm behind you, Holloway. I've been telling them everything, and I've told them that I was with you all weekend, and you didn't do shit. So we'll get through this together, okay, buddy? Just don't worry. We'll get through this together. Anyways, we see Holloway being transported in this police security van. It doesn't look like it's very armored at all. But then from the bushes, we see two guys with rocket launchers. And of course, they shoot the back of the damn van, and the whole thing goes flipping and flopping all over the place and blows up, and then the screen cuts to black. Then we see a very dazed and confused Holloway slowly starting to wake up as his eyes are blurry, and he's looking at two guys fully dressed in black as they're getting ready to load their guns, and then they just start shooting at people inside the van, even though they're probably already dead. And then these two guys dressed all in black start to take Holloway away into this ice cream truck, of all things, that they're using as a diversion cover. And then we see Dolph in the back of this ice cream truck, this old school ice cream truck, as he's filling up his wrists because he's got the handcuffs still on, and he's sitting beside these two guys in these full-on black outfits with guns pointing at him. And then the ice cream truck driver's like, "Sorry, Major, we just had to make it look good with the ice cream cone. Sorry about the whole situation here. We just had to do what we need to do." And then someone on the radio is like, "So you guys got the package?" And he's like, yeah, we got the package. He's distracted. He's like, "All right, good. Bury the package then. Bury the package." And the driver looks back at him and just smirks. So then we see Holloway, just getting a little antsy, as one of the guys is like, "Just sit back and relax." But no, Holloway's not going to do that, because he starts using his feet to beat up the one guy, and he uses his handcuffed hands to beat up the other guy at the same goddamn time. So then Holloway gets one of the guns away from the guy and just starts blasting the guy. And then we see there's two guys in the front of the truck, the driver and another ice cream guy. And he's holding a gun, and the driver's like, "What are you waiting for? Just shoot the damn guy already." And then the ice cream driver is like, on the rail, he's like, package loose. We need Mayday right now. Need assistance. Somebody help us, please." Holloway breaks through this little cage area that's between the front of the truck and the back of the truck. He kicks the one ice cream truck driver, or helper, out the side door. Then he starts to choke the driver out with the handcuffs. And then they crash off on the side of the road somewhere. And then the two CIA people are questioning General William Jacobs about Holloway's character. He's like, he's one of the most decorated pilots I ever had. And he's like, no, I want to know about his beliefs. Like, he's a communist, or what is he? The CIA guy is like, I'm pretty sure Jack Holloway is actually in cahoots with some terrorist organizations. So, these were some incidents that we had, and they're not random. This is our organizations that were taken out by, very professional people like Holloway. And we're kind of thinking that there's like an underground military organization that's going around, destroying these people. And, I'm pretty sure Holloway might be one of them. This remark actually pisses off Jacobs. He's like, "You know what? You guys get out of my office now. And if you keep this crap up, I'm going to talk to your superiors about this, because I do not appreciate these actions or thoughts towards Jack Holloway, because I'm very sure that he's not in the wrong in this." And then we see Sparks and Holloway's wife and daughter watching the news together, because he's kind of nervous, and they find out that on the news, apparently they're looking for Holloway because of the fancy plane's gone, and it sounds like the wife's finding out about the first time about this whole situation, what it actually has to deal with. And Sparks is like, "I might have knew a little bit about the case and what's going on, but I think it's my time to actually leave now and go home." Then as Sparks is leaving the home and getting into what I believe would be his Hummer, he gets grabbed on the mouth and starts freaking out. And of course, it's just Holloway hiding in the back of his Jeep. He's like, "I can't, let anyone know that I'm here. These hijackers are trying to screw things up for me. They had like this tattoo of like a snake and a ball and some other crap. I don't know what to do right now. I don't want my wife and my kid to get killed." And then we see the daughter, crying in the mom's arms. She's wishing that her daddy was there. And then Holloway walks in the back door and he's like, "Careful what you wish for, it might just appear." Then as they're all hugging as a nice, happy family, some tear gas starts to come through the house. And the daughter's like, "Dad, what's that?" And he's like, "Don't breathe, we gotta get out of here." And then these black outfit guys, not black guys, people dressed all in black, just start breaking through the windows. And Holloway is using his pistol to start shooting them and fighting them off. I mean, for being like assassins or whatever they might be, they're a horrible shot because like Holloway just tackles the couch and hides behind the couch, and they're just shooting with like submachine guns, and they're not hitting him at all. But then he just pops up behind the couch with a pistol and just fires like 3 shots, and the guy just stands there and doesn't move at all. And more guards keep breaking through the windows. I'm not sure how many windows are in this home. I've seen at least 4 or 5 being broken on the bottom floor of it alone. So then to fight back because the home is still filling up with gas, Holloway decides to take one of their gas masks so he can, start moving around the house a little bit more freely to start killing the people. Then we see Holloway fighting with one of the bad guys, and the daughter's still like standing right beside him with a gas mask on as well because he got gas masks for the wife and the daughter. And the daughter's looking at this guy that's fighting her dad and just pulls a pin out of a grenade and looks up and be like, "Dad!" And he's like, "Oh shit, I better kick this guy back a little bit before he blows up." And then this bitch with a giant hunting knife comes up behind his wife and just stabs her right in the back. And we see her like kind of fall lifeless as, Holloway's still trying to hold her. And then Holloway gets really pissed off, so he grabs one of the SMGs and just laces the girl with the butcher knife or hunting knife or whatever it was, and she just gets shot all over the place. And we still have guys coming through the home, so now we have this slow motion shot where Holloway's pissed off and he's just slowly firing shots all throughout the house to kill each and every single bad guy that's coming near his family. And then we see Holloway carrying his wife into a hospital, just yelling and screaming for a doctor to come from somewhere, and his daughter's yelling too, but there's like nobody in this hospital at all. There's no patients, there's no doctors, there's no nurses, there's nobody around at all. And then finally, some doctors actually finally show up in a goddamn hospital. Who would have thought? Like 3 of them just show up out of nowhere, even though there was nobody for what felt like minutes. And then we see Holloway and his daughter just sitting in the hallway waiting to hear from the doctor. One of these random doctors just shows up and be like, "She's gonna be fine. She actually, that knife wound that got her in the back missed pretty much everything." And as the doctor's walking away, he's like, "Oh, by the way, I called the police for you, just so you're aware, just because I know you're wanted and stuff." So then Holloway's like, "Okay, so this is my time to go, honey. I'm going to leave now. Your mom's in there. She's going to be fine," they said. "I'll be back soon at some point in time. Hopefully, be careful, please." Then we see Sparks at the computer inside the military base, and he's using the dog tags and trying to search to try and find where the emblem's from. And he finds the snake in a ball emblem. Apparently that emblem is actually a special forces emblem, so he's trying to hack into it and be like, this ain't gonna be no problem for the Spark Man. And apparently one of the guys he's looking up is supposed to be killed in Baghdad in 1990. He's Sergeant Stanley. He's one of the Serpent Slayers, I think they call them, or something along those lines. So then we have Sparks meeting up with General Jacobs. He's like, so you know anything about the serpents there, Sarge or General? And he's showing him dead dog tags. He's like, yeah, these guys were apparently supposed to be killed in Baghdad, but actually they weren't killed. They're actually part of the team that stole the Stormcatcher a couple days ago. That's when Jacobs mentions to Sparks, like, sit down, the Serpent Killers were actually made back in the day as like a special units force that could pretty much take out anyone and never be detected. And they were used to pretty much do assassins on foreign, like, government leaders and whatnot to try and, cut corners, I guess. And then we see Holloway showing up to this random beaten up airplane hangar, and he's like, "Hello," and this guy pops up. He's like, "Why are you here?" He's like, "I'm here to service this plane over here." And the guy's like, "Oh, what happened to the real guy?" He's like, "I came down sick with something. I'm gonna go service that plane though, right?" So then the guy that's at the hangar is calling to make sure that Holloway is actually here to service a plane. So then Holloway starts bullshitting himself, be like, I haven't liked them since they're from Brooklyn, something Flatbush. They just kind of relay on the thing because apparently the guy was from Flatbush talking about the Dodgers and baseball, and I don't care because it's baseball. And then this big hillbilly guy comes over and be like, "Oh, what are you doing messing with Mr. Lucas's plane?" He's like, "Mr. Lucas? Oh, I didn't know this was Mr. Lucas's plane." So then the big guy's like, "Oh, why don't you call on me?" He's like, "Oh, you're going to make a huge mistake." So then Holloway goes to throw a punch, and the guy catches the punch. He's like, "That's all you got?" So then the big guy punches Holloway right in the stomach and drops him to the ground. So then when the big guy's walking over to Holloway, he actually hits him with the toolbox that he has in his hand. Or actually, it's not a toolbox, sorry. It's the ramp stands to stop the plane from moving, and he sacks him. And then the big guy falls right on top of Holloway. He's like, "Oh God, I didn't think this through." So then we see Holloway getting in the plane and is taking down the runway. And then the old mechanic's chasing after him, throwing down tools, being like, "Get back here, you prick bastard! You lied about being a Dodgers fan." And then Sparks is trying to get some candy out of the vending machine because he had only 50 cents left. The CIA guys come and grab him and take him down to like this alleyway inside the building somewhere. But then they hear some noises, so they're like, oh, we better go check what the sound was. And then the CIA guys start talking to Sparks, being like, yeah, there's a renegade company that's buying some air bases and hangars and runways, and we're pretty sure that the military has something to do with it. And he's like, you think it's something to do with us? You think I have something to do with this? You think Holloway has something to do with this? He's not that smart. And then as the CIA guy is standing by a water cooler, we then see the water cooler start to pour out water, and he's bleeding from the stomach. And then the other CIA person gets shot, and then it's just this guy standing there pointing at Sparks like, wait, come on, we can talk about, come on, let's talk about, I don't need to die here. We see Holloway flying this little plane. He's in this like desert looking area, and it looks like it's like an oil mill or something. I don't know what it is. It's some giant ass factory, but all around the factory are these black guys. Sorry, people in black outfits with pointy ass noses. I don't know why. They're goddamn masks. They have a face mask, and it's got like pointy ass nose. I don't understand why. It just looks stupid as hell. But anyways, they're all just walking around this facility with guns, ready to shoot whenever. But then we just see Holloway just crouch walking throughout the whole little base, getting ready to pick one guy off at a time. It's funny. He gets into this one room that looks like a boiler room, and this one guy hears a noise coming from behind him, and Holloway just literally kicks him in the back, and his face goes right into some beams, and he's knocked out cold at this point in time. And then Holloway, as he's working through this building, he hears someone getting his ass kicked, and here it is. It's Sparks tied up to a chair as these guys are just beating the crap out of him. He's like, come on, why don't you tell us where he is? He's like, well, what are you talking about? I don't know who you're talking about. He's like, the White Rabbit. What do you think we're talking about? Talking about Holloway, Sparks. Where is he? And then Holloway comes in the picture and shoots the two guards, and then we just see Lucas standing behind Sparks with a knife to his throat, being like, you better drop the gun, Major. If you shoot me, this knife's gonna slip, and I'm gonna slice his throat right open. And then we see Luca trying to fight Holloway with the knife still in hand. But Holloway gets the knife away from him, no problem, and just literally starts beating him up. But then, Luca gets a couple shots in as well. And then he picks up the knife again, and Sparks is trying to get free of his chair and somehow falls backwards on his ass. And as Sparks is on his back, he's like, God, wait a minute, I'm coming, I'm going to come help. And out of nowhere, Holloway picks up a damn futon and starts beating Luca with it. And then we see them fighting with a rope, and then this rope gets wrapped around Luca's throat. So then Holloway grabs the other end of the rope and just starts hanging him from the ceiling until he passes out. Or, well, not passes out, he dies. And Holloway makes a joke being like, you always did say you didn't want to stay on the ground. And now that Luca's dead, Holloway sits down beside Sparks like, hey, thanks for the help, buddy. I appreciate that. You doing good? You doing good? Thanks for the help. I really appreciate it, bud. And then out of nowhere, General William Jacobs walk into the scene, and then a bunch of other, black suited agents walk in, and it's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here now. And now we see Sparks in Holloway surrounded by guys with guns, and Jacobs is like, the America that we used to remember, and the freedom and the rights and everything, it's not there anymore. So we're working together to make America the way we want it again. Then Holloway starts questioning William Jacobs about his son, be like, your son fought for this country. He died for this country. What would your son think right about now? What you're doing with this country? He's just like, don't tell me anything about my son. This country mistreated him. So then Jacobs is like, so you gonna work on that side, Holloway? He's like, no, I will never betray our country. And that's when his daughter is brought in by gunpoint. And he's like, alright. So now we see Holloway in his flight suit, and there's one of the other captains that are going with him as well. They're going with him so that they can keep an eye on him, just so he doesn't cause anything funny to happen. Because if he does, then his daughter is going to be killed, of course. And of course, Holloway doesn't want that to happen at all. And then Dar starts acting up and making a fuss and commotion and causing some havoc. And then we see Sparks actually grab something off the table for later. Then Jacobs gives Sparks some coordinates. He's like, override the computer. I want them to go to these coordinates. And he's like, Sparks, don't do anything stupid. I don't think Holloway would appreciate if you did anything stupid that would cause harm to his daughter now, would he? And we see Holloway and the other guy up in the air flying the stealth stealth catcher. I don't know how I forgot about the name of the movie, but he's doing some flips and loops and stuff. He's like, how you doing over there, Sergeant? How you doing? You doing okay? Now we have Williams talking about some phases, like phase 1, cut off the head of Snake. Phase 2, do something else. Phase 3, full on annihilation of everything. So they're like, alright, it's time to lock and load the weapons up and send out the package. We see Holloway reaching apparently Mach 3 and then going into cloak mode, which is what Jacobs wanted because he doesn't want anyone knowing what's going to happen, of course, because that's why they're using the Stormcatcher. Then as Williams is talking to Nicole, the daughter, and he's like, as long as your dad doesn't do anything stupid, everything's going to be just fine. And then Sparks is actually typing in a number to actually page Holloway, and the phone starts beeping, or the pager starts beeping. So then the guy with Holloway starts freaking out, being like, oh, what the hell is that? What's beeping? He's like, it's a weapons radar. We do have radar on here, and some things are going to start to beep after a while. And then we see that some other alarms start going off on the sonars where Sparks is, and Williams isn't too happy because there's some other fighter jets, Delta jets, that are coming towards him, and Jacob's like, this better not be on you, Sparks. If it is, I'm going to shoot you right here, right now. And then the guy inside the plane with Holloway's freaking out, and then Holloway just presses the pager to make it stop beeping, and then the fire jets stop as well, and the guy's like, where'd the radar go? What happened? Where'd the beeping go? So then Holloway doesn't there spin around, loop around, and he's like, he grabs the gun from the other guy. He's like, you're not going to be needing this. And he disables the parachute and then pulls the lever, and the guy's seat just ejects out of the plane. And of course, Holloway put his helmet on the other guy just because of this plan, because then he talks into the computer to say Holloway dead, and then his signal comes up as dead on the computer system to Sparks because the other guy was wearing the suit, of course, and he went flying out with no parachute. So yeah, he's definitely dead. And then William Jacobs is looking at the computer. He's being like, for someone who's never flown a plane before, his heart rate is pretty fucking calm, isn't it? And then that's when they figure out that it's actually Holloway in McGrady's mask instead of wearing his own helmet. This whole computer system, command system that they have Sparks actually working on is actually sitting in the back of a U-Haul. And then they have the U-Haul taking off. But of course, Holloway is able to find them because they're driving a freaking U-Haul of all things. So the thing that Sparks actually took earlier was a glow stick, and he pulls it slowly out of his pocket and cracks it, and is spinning around beside his leg, and of course nobody can see it because of the angle he's on, and that actually is like a signal that Holloway can see through the scanning system of the jet. That's when Jacobs then gives Sparks the order to be like, you tell Holloway to land that plane now, or he's never going to see his daughter ever again, so make sure you do it now. That's when Holloway then says the snap and roll Storm 52-3 or whatever, and it's a football play that he actually told his daughter when they were playing the practice game. And Jacobs is like, what the hell does that mean? What's that mean? And on the count of 3, Sparks hits Jacobs, throws him out, or throws the gun out of his hand. One of the other guards gets kicked, gets shot out the back of the U-Haul, and then Sparks grabs the daughter and jumps out, and they do a tuck and roll down the road. And that's when then Holloway comes behind them with the jet and is getting ready to bomb their ass. The U-Haul driver sees what's happening, so he stops the truck in the middle of the road and just books it down into the field. And then of course Jacobs is sitting in the back of the U-Haul because he got punched a couple times by Sparks. He's looking at the sonar and being like, oh no, that's a bomb coming towards me. And then we see Sparks on the ground with Nicole, the daughter. And he's like, yeah, your dad's really good at that. It's probably a little bit too violent with it, but hey, you might need to get Uncle Sparks into an ambulance. I'm feeling pretty sore right now. That's when we then see Holloway playing with the computer, and he's actually setting the plane to self-destruct as he then pulls his lever, and his cockpit gets, shot out into the air. But of course, he's got a parachute, so he'll be fine. Then we see Holloway walking through some bushes as his parachute's still attached to him as he's dragging it through the ground. And then Sparks and Nicole show up, and he's like, hey, how about we go back camping? It was less painful, huh? And then we cut to the football game that they were practicing for at the beginning of the movie, and the play goes off without a hitch, and Nicole grabs the ball, gets the touchdown, and maybe wins the game for the team. I don't know, or just got a touchdown in general. And the wife's like, hey, big boy, what's your secret? And he looks at the camera. Snap and roll, 52 Storm. And he just winks, and then the movie's over. And then we have the outro credits starting to play. And yeah, it wasn't too bad of a movie. It was pretty decent. On the rotten scale of 10, I'm gonna give it a solid 5. I like Dolph Lundgren movies a lot, so I don't expect much. It's a Dolph Lundgren movie, so you expect the bare minimum, but in a good way at least. And I thought it had a pretty good cast, and it was just a decently paced movie. So I would definitely recommend at least checking it out once if you're a Dolph fan. Which brings us to what we're going to be watching next week. I mean, we're already in December, so maybe we should try and get like a horror Christmas movie or some sort going here. So we're going to watch a horror Christmas movie off of Prime. I was just scrolling through a couple of them. I've never even heard of this movie before, so it's probably not going to be good, but we'll watch it anyways, just because I haven't seen it before, and I feel like watching something new. We're going to watch a movie from 2007. I know that's crazy to think of. We're watching a movie called P2. I wouldn't expect it to be a Christmas movie, but it says it's a Christmas movie, so we're going to go with it. So we're going to be watching that next week on Amazon Prime. And as always, make sure to support and check out the outro band, Toronto-based horror band Blood Opera. All their links are down below. Find them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify being the main thing. Definitely go support them on Spotify. Give them a like, give them a follow. And as always, you can find me on all social media accounts. All the links are down below, but you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, X, TikTok. One of the main things is the YouTube channel, so definitely go check it out. We got the weekly gaming video dropping every single Wednesday. Got various shorts over there as well. Old episodes of the podcast as well as live streams, so definitely hit that like button on some of the videos. Hit the share button on some of the videos. Make sure to subscribe
and turn on the bell notifications. That way you get notified anytime I go live, or if I'm like post a new video or streaming, whatever it might be. That way you don't miss out on any of the extra free content. And feel free to subscribe to the Twitch channel as well. Links are all down below as well. So I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.